All right, everybody, welcome back. Yesterday we talked about sales tax, and today we're going to talk about kind of the opposite. Sales tax, like you remember, was when you had to pay extra for something that you're buying to go towards taxes. Now, discount is the opposite, and it's something I think a lot of you are familiar with, but just in case, a discount is money that you get to take off of the price of the item. So it's like when an item is for sale. Instead of having to pay the original amount, the full amount of that item, you get a discount. You get to pay part of that amount. Now, discounts are pretty straightforward, and we're going to talk about 3 different ways you might see discounts used. And the first one that we talk about is kind of the real world use of this. It's the one that you're going to see most often in your life, and it's kind of the most important one. But there's 2 other ways that you might be asked questions about discount that I want to make sure you understand. So the first way, remember, a discount is an amount that we're taking off of the price. And we're going to do this first example 2 different ways. The first way is using a proportion. The second way we'll use our little bit of a shortcut. But the example is a sweatshirt that usually costs $39.79 was on sale for 33% off. So that means this is the usual price, but we get to take off 33%. And that's all we're going to have to pay. So we want to figure out what the cost of the sweatshirt is with that discount taken off before we have to pay taxes. So like everything else we're doing right now, I'm going to set up a proportion. So right here, I'm going to put a number 1, and that stands for this type of example. That means this type of question. Now, I know my percent is 33%, so that goes on top, 33 over 100. So over here to the side, I'm going to write percent over 100, which hopefully you guys have figured out by now. Percent goes over 100, 33 is my percent. Now, this is my percent of discount. And in fact, maybe we should write that right here. This is our percent of discount. Or in other words, this is the percentage that we're taking off. Now, on the other side, if this is the percent of discount, then this side is going to be the amount of discount. Or in other words, this is the amount that we get to take off the price. So we have the percent of our discount and the amount of our discount. And in this case, we don't know what that amount is. That's what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out how much money we get to take off the price of this sweatshirt. So that's going to be my X. That's what I'm looking for. And on bottom is the original price of the item. So the original price goes on the bottom. So right here, I'm going to put original price. And in this case, it's $39.79. So I'm going to write that down, $39.79. Now, if you need to pause the video to write these things down and keep up, please pause the video. I need you to keep up. I need you to understand what's going on in the problem, not just writing down what I'm writing down. You need to understand why it's going where it's going. Okay, so I've got my proportion set up, and it's going to help me find the amount of discount. So I cross multiply and I divide. So I'm going to do 33 times 39.79 divided by 100. And I get kind of a weird decimal, 13.13. Now remember, this is money, so that looks really close to $13.13. So that's what I'm going to put right here, $13.13. Now, remember, that is the amount of my discount. And if that's the amount that I get to take off, I actually have to take it off of my original price. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do $39.79 minus the $13.13. Okay, so I'm going to do $39.79 minus $13.13. And when I hit enter, I find out I'm going to get $26.66. Now that represents, this was the amount I was going to pay. This was the amount of my discount. So this is the amount that I end up paying, which is what you're going to use in real life the most. You're going to see an amount that something costs. You're going to see a sale percent, and you're going to want to know how much is it going to cost me for this item when it's on sale, which is this amount, which is why we're using that example first. And the shortcut is kind of just skipping the proportion. You know how to find the percent of a number, which is what we did right here. We were, or to take the percent of something, we were finding what 33% of this number is. And the shortcut for doing that, and really this is the only one that we're going to be able to use the shortcut, which is why I'm a little bit hesitant to use it, but if you guys can use it and use it right, then great. So the shortcut to finding the percentage of a number is, remember, you multiply the original cost. We want to find a percent of the original cost. So I'm going to multiply the original cost and the percent. And that's going to give me the amount of discount. This tells me the original times the percentage gives me the amount of discount. So that will give me the amount that you will discount, okay? Then we got to make sure that doesn't give me my answer. That tells me how much I don't have to pay. So I'm going to subtract that amount from the original price. That's step 2. I'm going to subtract that amount from the original price. And step 3, that's your answer. This is your final cost. That's the amount that you're going to pay for the item. Okay, so down here, we're going to do things a little bit backwards. Number 1, down here on the together problems, looks like this problem. And I want to do those together really quick while we're talking about them. It gives me the original price, and it gives me a percent of discount. So this one, let's go ahead and set up the proportion. My original price is 20. My percent of discount is 20%. So when I set that up, I'm going to put 20% on one side. And on the other side, I don't know my amount of discount. I know it's 20% discount, but I don't know the amount, so that's X. And on the bottom, I put 20. So I'm looking for 20% of $20. And so when I cross multiply and divide, I find out that my amount of discount is $4. That's the amount I don't have to pay. So my sell price is going to be my original $20 minus $4 because that's my discount. And I'm going to end up paying $16 for that item. Okay. The second example, we'll use the shortcut. The original price is $95. The percent is 35% that I get to take off. So let's figure out what 35% of 95 is. So I do 95 times 35%, and that tells me it's going to be $33.25. Now that's the amount of my discount that I have to take off of my price. So 95 minus $33.25. You can go ahead, plug that in your calculator. 95 minus $33.25, and you get $61.75. So you're going to pay $61.75 for that item. Okay. Now, again, that's the most applicable to your life. That's the way that you're going to use this most of the time. But in math class, on math tests, we like to ask you a little bit more than the typical thing that you see. Like, I labeled this with a 2 because this is our second example, our second type of question. It gives us the original price, and it gives me the sell price, but it doesn't give me the percent that I took off. I've got to figure out what that is. So in order to do that, we have to set up a little bit different proportion. So right here, I'm going to put a 2 and circle it. I'll do this in a different color because this goes down here with number 2. All right. I'm going to use kind of the same proportion. On the left-hand side, I want a percent. So I don't know my percent, so that's going to be my X over 100. And then on the right-hand side, I've got my original price, $55. That goes on the bottom. So this is going to be the original. And on top, here's where we have to be careful. If I'm looking for the percent of discount, if this is my percent of discount, then this is my amount of discount. And here's where we need to be really careful, just like percent of change. It gives me these two numbers, originally $55, a sell price of $23. It doesn't tell me the amount that I took off. I have to figure that out. I was supposed to pay $55, but I only paid $23. So 55 minus 23 is $32. So that means that my amount of discount, the amount that I didn't have to pay, that goes right here, is $32. So I'm going to set this up. X over 100 equals $32, because this is my percent of discount. This was my amount of discount, and the original goes on the bottom from right here. And then I just cross multiply and divide. I do 32 times 100 divided by 55, and this tells me that my percent is kind of a weird little ugly percent, but that's our answer. It's 58.18 repeating, so my discount was 58.18%. That was the percent that I got to take off of the price. So that goes right here, 58.18%. And I know that's a lot different. I know that the formula, you have to be careful. You have to think of, this isn't the sell price that goes here, just like this wasn't the guess that we made in our estimate, and just like this wasn't the amount, our new amount with percent of change. If this is the percent of discount, which we're looking for, this is the amount of discount, not the new price. Okay, so be really careful when you set up this problem. You're going to do one just like it down here. Be really careful that you use the amount of discount over there. Okay? All right, third situation, because two of them's not confusing enough. We're going to throw in one more. This situation, I labeled it again with a 3. We're looking for the original price, and this is the percent that we discounted, and this is the sell price. So when we're looking for the original price, again, we know our percent of discount and we know the sell price. The problem is we don't know what the original price was. So I don't know what the amount of discount was. I've got to figure out what that is so that I can find the original price. And here's where it can get a little bit confusing. So I'm going to go kind of slow. If you need a pause, rewind, go for it. Okay. I'm looking for the original price. So in my proportion, the original price goes down here. And above it, we've got to decide what amount to put here. And here's the tricky part, is usually we put the amount of discount right there. The problem is I don't know the amount that I discounted because I don't know what my original price was. And that makes this one kind of tricky to do. So we do these ones a little bit different. Because I don't know this number either, I can't put another variable there. That doesn't really work. But what I do know is a relationship right here. I know that if I had a 75% discount, that means I took off 75% of the price. And what I do know is if I took off 75%, I paid 25%, because 100% minus 75 equals 25. So if I took off 75%, I was left with 25. And that's what I want to put right here. This right here is the amount, or this is the percent that I paid. I took 75% off, so I paid 25%. And the reason I want to use that number is because the sell price is the amount that I paid, which I'm going to put right here, 55.50. So the proportion that I'm using is the percent paid over 100 equals the amount paid over the original. So the percent that I paid was 25%. The amount that I paid was $55.50. Now I can cross multiply, divide, and figure out what X is. So we do 100 times 55.50 divided by 25. And I get $222. So the original price was $222 because that's my X, and that's where the original price was supposed to go. Now, problems 2 and 3, you're not going to see them as much in real life. You will, and it's important to me that you know how to set up these proportions. That if this is the percent I paid, this is the amount that I paid. And if this is the percent of discount, that this is the amount of discount. I do need you to know how to do them. So I want you to try these other problems on your own. And I'm going to label them for you. This, you're going to use the number 3 type. This one down here, this is the number 2 type. And these ones are like the number 1s. So use the examples, give these problems a try. If you need help, if you get stuck, come and ask questions. Otherwise, come show me your work when you're done, and we'll make sure you got the hang of this. Good luck.